Good morning. You ready, Maestro?
I'm ready.
All right, man. I'm holding the key to the city, guys. Guess what? Talk Visual 305. We just got some great news. We have another guest that we have on right now. And we wanted to say, listen, we would like for you to like and subscribe. We're coming to you live from downtown Homestead. We're leaving some good, in fact, great crumbs for the next generation. So for those of you who are listening, please like and subscribe, share it with a friend. Talk Visual 305, we're on all the major platforms. Please help us out. So without further ado, Julio!
All right, we got a special guest in the building again. This gentleman, he's got deep roots in the Homestead, South Dade community. Mr. Johnny Farias, he is also an electrician. He is deeply rooted in the Democratic Party. He also is the person that has started the gubernatorial forum down here at the Seminole Theater. He brings candidates from all over the state of Florida who are running for governor, which we are grateful for. Please help me give a warm welcome to Mr. Johnny Farias. Oh, let me not forget to mention he is also elected Miami-Dade councilman. Miami-Dade councilman Johnny Farias.
Woo!
That was a great entrance.
Mr. Johnny, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I mean, with that kind of entrance and introduction, I mean, you got to be doing good.
Shows he's busy. Shows he's got a lot of stuff going on.
So listen here. First, we want to say thank you for coming on our podcast. We always like to give our digital flowers for those who are doing it great. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for what you're about to do. And thank you what you're about to do in the future. So we appreciate you. So welcome to our podcast. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you so much. And by the way, that's a pretty big key. The
That's
doors
it.
to Homestead.
See
The
that?
doors
It
to
is
Homestead
the
are
key now.
large.
We officially got a key, guys. You know what? Major key alert. So give us an intro, sir. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I mean, like you said, I've been in South Dade a long time. I got stationed here after my military service in the U.S. Navy.
Okay, thank you for your service, sir.
I was my last duty station was Homestead Air Force Base, where my daughter was actually born there too.
Okay.
I'm a licensed electrician. I'm an electrical contractor in the state of Florida.
Okay.
I'm also an elected official. I'm a community council member for District 15, which is in South Dade also.
Okay.
I've been a guardian ad litem. I've held many hats.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just a person that coming and growing up from Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
I know how important it is to give back. You know, I believe in always helping to make opportunities, because when you give people opportunities to grow, you know, they take it.
Right.
You know, everybody talks about, giving, a hand up or you put your bootstraps on. No, for me, it's helping people so everyone has the same equal opportunity to strive, just like I did.
Well said, man. Well said. Given the fact that you have a platform now, you're kind of paying it forward. We're trying to leave crumbs for the next generation. What do you see? What is going on? What is going on in your world at this moment?
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm in the Democratic Party. I've been Democrat for life, but I'm a conservative Democrat.
Okay.
And we see what's going on in the country. Right now they're really big on anti-immigration, anti-immigrant period. And I was born in Ecuador. I was a naturalized citizen at the age of 9 years old. So seeing what's going on, and it isn't that we don't need to get a hold of our immigration system. We do, but I don't think we need to abuse the people like the way we're doing it. I mean,
Right.
you can be civil about it.
Understood.
That and just the way that they're taking a lot of the rights away that our forefathers and people before us came back and have helped, put in the system, so people like us, can move ahead.
Understood.
And so that's basically it.
Cool. So I mean, being that you wear many hats, of all the hats you wear, which is the best one?
A father.
Good answer.
I have 5 adult children.
Oh.
I've been married to my wife 37 years now.
Congrats.
My oldest, he's an attorney. My daughter, she's a big-time supervisor for a big construction company that's basically all women.
Right. Okay.
I got 2 grandkids from my other daughter. I got great kids. I'm really blessed, and they call me every morning,
Right.
and that just shows me that
check in.
Just to see how I'm doing, and that shows me that I did a good job, and I'm really proud of my kids. So that's
good.
That's the best thing in the world for me is being a dad.
They were raised here in South Florida,
Yes,
or
yes,
they
right here in South Florida. Here in South Florida.
Cool beans, man.
I want to give a shout out to his wife, Bobby. They are the prime example of what it means to have a united family.
Right.
They're a great unit when they're together. They exemplify what it means to be giving to the community
And better together.
while maintaining a united family. So let's give a round of applause. Farias.
In
Good,
fact,
man.
I said I have 5. She'll tell you she has 6.
That's it. Throw the husbands in there, right?
Exactly.
Very good, man. I mean, as we go through what's happening today, I mean, unfortunately, you know, certain things we can control, and we try to do our best to leave the right crumbs to correct some of the things that we see that's happening. In your space,
Right.
you say you wear many hats, and one of the major hats that you're wearing, you know, you say you're part of the Democratic Party, and then you know, on your day to day is what? What is it that you do as considered your day to day?
Well, in my day-to-day, once I get all my guys started in the work, in electrical work, because obviously
Okay.
as a councilman we don't get paid.
Right.
You know, it's a non-paid but elected position.
Right.
Once they get started, then I know I'll make my calls to the voters. I call my voters, you know, within my district. You know, either for happy birthday or
Yeah.
if I make notes that one of them was sick, I call them back to follow up. I let people know, you know, that elections are coming up. If there's programs that the county put out, I try to put those out so, you know, they're aware. Because the biggest thing for me as an elected official is getting the information out to the people.
Understood.
You know, because I mean, look, you know, the reality is we can't expect that when the county does it, it's going to get to everybody.
Right.
You know, because we have a big county. You know, we have 3 million people in here that live here. So once I get the information, you know, I'll send it out to the people that have emails or phones
Right.
too. Because we got summer programs, we got job programs. There's all kind of things that are happening right now
Right.
that some people are not aware. And sometimes when it comes from the county, I mean, people are always from the county, they don't pay attention. But when it comes from Johnny or Julio, people
Yeah.
that they can reflect, you know, as
Right.
the same,
Right.
then they'll listen to
Understood.
it. You know, so that helps out a lot.
Johnny's like the guy next door where you've got all these complicated legislative items. Johnny calls and says, hey, let me break this down for you in simple layman terms. This is what's happening with the property tax reform. This is what's happening with ICE and immigration. This is what's happening with all of the important items that are going on at the state and at the local level. Johnny's your guy that just kind of breaks it down and keeps everybody in tune with what's going on in our
community.
community.
So, I mean, well said. I mean, as you do the things you're doing on a day to day, what is it that you would like to lead with? Tell our audience today. I mean, as far as what is it you're doing? What is it that you can see them do better at or continue doing?
Well, okay, the biggest thing right now is look, everybody. Oh, you know, and I've heard it many times in, you know, campaigning in elected office. People don't care about politics,
Right.
but as we've learned in these last couple of years, politics is in everything, including in the price of eggs, obviously, you know, and gas. You know, you have to involve yourself, even if it's just to investigate who's running, because if not, we're allowing the 6 or 7% of the people that vote dictate how you live your life.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying, you know, get like me and be all into it, but at least find out who your judges are. Find out who your local people are, because if you notice, everybody comes out for the presidential election.
Right.
But by the time the president does something, it takes time for it to affect you.
Right.
But your local person, like the councilman, your tax collector,
Right.
your election official, they do things that affect your life that same day.
Right.
Right.
And it's always the little things that impacts you the most, right?
Yeah, so you know, pay attention to what's going on. That's all. And look, I was one of those that, you know, with as many kids as I have, I did the t-ball, the baseball, the Girl Scouts, the karate, the ballet. You name it. I did it, and I didn't bother to worry about politics until one day it was like, whoa, what's going on? You know. So just find out what's going on. I mean, you know, call me, call Julio. We're always involved. You know, and we'll explain things. You know, I help out, you know, the candidates that are down south, because my whole thing is down south because we're forgotten a lot.
Right.
You know, so you know, we didn't make sure that South Dade, you know, stays on the map. And at the end of the day, we all know that this is where all the expansion is going to happen.
That's right.
You can't build anywhere, you know, past Metro Zoo.
Right.
You know, everything's out here.
Everything is in the South, right? Like we said, we always say on our podcast, all road leads to Homestead, you know? We're in one.
I like that.
And, you know, we're right next to the gateways to the Keys, right? So
Yep.
the benefit of being down here, I mean, you could have moved and lived anywhere in the country. You chose to live here. What led you to Homestead?
Just the quietness, the way that, you know, my kids can go out and ride their bike.
Right.
You know, growing up in New York, we did that a lot. And you think, oh, well, but it's a big city. Well, back when I was growing up, we actually took our bikes outside and we rode. We
That's
rode
how
our bikes
busy
and stuff.
where everybody was.
Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, in Brooklyn. I live in Hartford Place, right by the base, and and when my kids were young, and all my grandkids do it, they can go outside and just play,
Right.
and I like that, and not that it's slower, but the hustle's not there like in New York, And me and my wife didn't want that no more. I grew up in that. I didn't want
the weather?
that. Oh, come on, man! This is paradise, man. This is paradise, of course.
Until the heat hits you, and you're like, man,
Nah, hey, look, you're gonna go into AC.
That's right.
You don't have to shovel snow. You ain't got to put on all those jackets, to get into your car.
True.
But no. I mean, Florida, it's I loved it. Being stationed in San Diego when I came here, 30 years ago, it was almost like San Diego, and I was like, you know what, this is where we're gonna stay, and we've been here ever since.
Put your flag down.
Yep.
Very good, man. That's an amazing thing. Julio, what do you got?
Johnny, it's a sense of pride for us on what you've created with the gubernatorial forum, because we had never been a location that was ever thought of to do an event like that. It was always places like University of Miami
Right,
or
FIU.
FIU, those kinds of places. But you've managed to bring the attention way down south into the heart of Homestead right here at the Seminole Theater. And every year that I've gone is only getting bigger and bigger. How did you manage, and what was the thought process on creating that event?
Well, my first one, which was I think 8 years ago or 12 years ago, I was getting upset because they would do, like you said, they would come down to FIU or even to the auditorium down in downtown Miami, or the campuses, even the campus up in north, the Wolfson campus and stuff, never down here. And I'm like, we vote down here. There's people down here that need to hear about the candidates. Because if you're going to be for governor, I at least want to know who you are.
Right.
And if you want my vote, I want to know. I want to be able to ask you a question. I want to be able to see you, not just on TV.
Right.
I want to make sure that you're a person like me.
Yeah, that's right.
So I with my wife, my family, and friends, Venus councilwoman, Venus Lovely. She was involved with the first one. She helped me out a lot. And
Dominicana también. Ya ustedes saben,
Yep,
Dominicana.
Dominicana. Dr. Norman White was also involved in the first one.
Okay.
Manny Gutierrez, and we said, you know what, and we paid it out of our pockets. We don't bother nobody for money because we want to make sure that we do it right.
Right.
Okay, we don't want all that red tape. We secured the building, and then I started calling all the candidates. I said, look, we have this forum. It's free. It's free for you. It's free for the people. Come out because people want to hear from you, and that's how it started. And they were excited to come down. And even though the first one we had to go through a lot of loops to make sure they came down, because a lot of people were like, Homestead, well, we're not going to drive over here. But we made sure they came down, and they did.
Right.
They showed up, and it was exciting. And then the 4 years later, it came around again, and we did it again when Nikki Frieda came down for governor, and it was really good. And like you said, it's gotten bigger and bigger. This year, it's this Sunday at 4 o'clock at the Homestead Seminole Theater again.
Right across the street, guys.
Right across the street.
That's it.
And just so you know, our moderator is Jesse Schneckner from Florida Politics.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Good job.
he's a really good reporter. He's done really good stuff, and he's very equal across the board. So
Very good.
we're honored to have him there and moderate. And we have actually a big lineup this time. So we're going to be cutting close to the time. But we got a lot of people coming down, and because of so much, I think now we're going to do it every 2 years. This way we can bring some of the state candidates down also.
Okay.
Because congressional, they go for election every 2 years, and so do the state reps.
But the name is gubernatorial.
Yeah.
You might have to switch the name up a little bit.
Right.
A little bit.
A
Yeah,
little
you're right.
tweaking, right?
Yeah, we got to tweak it a little bit,
That's it,
but yeah. So that's what it started.
The
It was just an
concept is good.
idea and a concept, and then it's grown, and I'm proud of it. And we send out to everybody. Whoever says, well, I'm coming, we put them down.
Right.
And whoever doesn't, well, they, for whatever reason, they just don't come down.
Yeah, keep it moving.
Yeah.
Very good, man.
So the council with the county, your job, tell our audience what your role is with the council, Miami-Dade County Council, in
Okay.
your district.
Okay, my job is basically to vote on issues that have to do with zoning,
Yeah.
the growth of the CDMP, which is the
Master plan?
master plan of the county, and just basically like if developers want to come and they want to get a variance to to put up 300 apartments or a giant apartment building. They come in front of the board and either we recommend it or we shoot it down. Within the community now, I've been there. This is my second term, not consecutive, because I did 4 years and then I ran for commission, and then I ran for council again. So now this will be my 6th year on a council member. And being in the construction field, I have a little more understanding about what's going on.
Right.
So sometimes that's why sometimes developers are not too keen of me because they know I know what is happening.
Yeah.
But I always try to devote, and my voting record is public, things that are going to uplift the community.
Well said.
So you've been there. How many districts? How many members are on? The
There's
community
7
council?
members.
7 members. So the developers, anybody interested in doing something in Miami-Dade County, you're the first stop.
Yes.
That they've got to get a recommendation from in order to be put on the agenda to go to Board of County Commissioners.
Well, no. If we approve it, then they don't have to go to Board of County Commissioners most of the time because they already got your approval.
Okay.
If we deny it, they have the chance to appeal it and then go in front of the board.
Gotcha.
The county commission.
Supreme Court.
So they get courted a lot by developers, right? And a lot of times when it fits the mold, because developers typically want to change up some of the rules, the way they're written in the charter. So if it's written in the charter, as of right, they can do whatever they want if they're going to follow the rules that are in the charter. But typically they're going to come present to you guys and they say, hey, we may need to tweak this. We may need a variance here. And then that's when you guys have a discussion and then you decide, yes, we approve or no, we don't.
Yes, and it's not only developers. It can be, a person that owns their home that they want to put a shed that instead of going into the 5-foot rule, they want to put it closer. They got to get variance for that, or they want to put a pool and it doesn't fit in there. They want to be able to variance in that. So it's just not only developers. It can be anything to do with your home.
It's a broad area. Okay.
So the recent session that Florida's had, one of the items that jumps out at me is not needing a permit for anything under
$7,000.
$7,000. Are you aware of that?
No.
Okay. Johnny, can you explain?
Yes, I'm glad you bring that up.
Right.
So anything that you do under $7,000, excluding electric, plumbing, and air conditioner, mechanical, those you still got to get a permit for because you got safety regulations and stuff like that. But let's say you wanted to fix your fence and it's under $7,000, you can do that. If you want to fix your door or do something basic in your home, you can, because before, no matter what you did, you had to get a permit.
Right.
Okay, and actually before it was actually $500. Okay. There was a Dade County ordinance saying that anything under $500, you didn't have to get a permit, which a lot of people weren't aware of. But now the state, stepped in and said anything under $7,000. But again, I make sure that everybody knows electric, especially electric, you got to get a permit for electric, plumbing, and air conditioner.
Right.
Which is in electric, plumbing, and mechanical, those are typically the only things that you cannot do as owner-builder.
Right.
Right? You need to hire a contractor,
Right.
licensed contractor, to do those trades.
And if you're going to do it right, right?
Right. And Johnny, now, what is your take? How do you feel about property tax reform? Because it's been all over the news lately. It seems to be the only thing everybody's talking about, and I'm getting mixed reviews from people thinking, okay, I think to every average American, they all want tax relief, but they don't understand how that may implicate the local government, because without that revenue, it's hard to provide those services.
Right. So in your opinion, what do you think?
Well, it's funny you asked. I was going to ask you the same thing, but I'm going to give you my opinion because I know you're into real estate and everything else. But in my opinion, the way I see it, I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to vote for it yet because I still got a little more investing to do. But right now, the last time that because I have a podcast also, Miami Community News. I had the former tax collector
on there.
And he even said that, we have a 50,000 homestead exemption now.
Right.
But over time, it caps out at 300. Okay? So if we caps out at 300 and now they're changing it to 250, does that mean we lose $50,000? And that's the homeowners that have had their home already 7 years plus.
Right.
Okay, you follow me? So will that affect me now that I lose $50,000? Because $50,000 in a tax is a lot of money.
Yes.
Okay? The only good thing that I do know is that they tied it down with the CPI. That with the inflation of it, so that's a good thing. But look, you got to do your investigation. Everybody feels differently about it. I still worry about it. I still got to find out to see if that 50,000 is gonna be grandfathered in. Because like I said, right now I'm max at 300.
Right.
250 don't do me nothing, or
Right.
people that have their homes for a long time.
Right.
You know, but it does help out, like you said, with the CPI, and that's even then. You know, look, we know the CPI realistically is just a game of numbers.
CPI, for those that are listening, is the
Cost price index.
Consumer Price Index.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm seeing is, let's say my neighbor just sold his house,
Right.
Right.
right? And I live in a modest neighborhood, right? And let's say they sold that house for $600,000. And I've been in my house for a while, and my assessed value won't go over the, let's say, $250,000 that eventually it's going to be capped at, right?
In 2028.
Right. So I'm going to be getting the same services from the city, yet I wouldn't have to pay a dime in property taxes, yet the neighbor would have to pay everything because he just purchased.
Right.
You know, so I could understand how one can feel resentment when that happens, but
But if you're buying a new home, right?
Yeah.
If it is a new home, you've already been to that pain point.
right,
They are coming in,
Right.
unfortunate. They're new. They haven't paid their dues, considered, or may not have.
But we understand it. That's only if they come from another state.
Ah, okay.
And they got to live here 5 years before
Right.
they can get that benefit of the $250,000. But if you already live here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and let's say you rented and now you buy your new home, being you've been here already more than 5 years of residency, you can get that.
you're going
Right.
to get that deduction, but you're still going to pay on the difference of what the assessed value is.
Right.
Yeah, but it only takes away the 250.
Yeah.
You still get the 250.
Right.
Right.
Okay, but now, let me. So I understand this. You said that you know if you were at 600,000, you only get the 250. You still got to pay the difference.
Right.
And property tax.
Right, but the way the property assessor assesses the value
Right.
based on if it's your homestead.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
you're only going to get.
I
they're
got you. I'm saying, okay.
They're only
yeah.
going to assess up to a certain amount.
Right.
So I would be able to benefit not having to pay any taxes.
Right.
You would too.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. It's a question that
Hmm.
I hear a lot. That's people are asking.
Yeah.
But to most all the average people, if you say, hey, you like property tax reform?
Oh,
They're like,
they say
yes,
yes.
Yeah.
please. When is that bill coming so I can vote for it?
And that's the issue that
So it's gonna pass.
you hear. Yeah, I believe it's gonna pass. People hear, oh, I'm no property tax. Right away, though, they say yes. I mean, hey, who doesn't want it?
Right.
But there's more to it. There's more to the bill. There's more to it. You got to read into it. And you got to see what benefits you. Like now, everything that's non-homestead is going to be. They're going to cap it from 10 down to 5.
Right.
Which that helps out too.
Right.
In that end.
Right. Do you see them moving the cheese? Right. They took away from here. Where are they going to collect?
That's exactly.
Where's the makeup?
And that's the other
Because
thing.
it's coming. It's
No,
coming.
no, no.
That's-
They
and
don't
then
lose
the question
ever, right?
is,
It's moving the cheese, as we call it.
Where are they going to move that cheese to? And my thoughts are, it's going to be pushed heavily towards commercial real estate.
Commercial.
Commercial real estate.
Maybe the tax. The
Well,
tax.
in the commercial world, they don't pay usually.
Well, here it is. In the commercial world, let's say you own a shopping center,
Right.
And you're on a pretty busy street, so you can charge triple net lease. And the triple net lease means you own the shopping center. Even though you have property taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance, you're able to pass those fees
Right.
on to the tenants, and they're paying. So the shopping center owner gets to collect a lot of the cash free and clear, right? But now, when they start shifting the burden from the lost revenue of the property taxes of the homestead properties, I could only assume, which it hasn't happened yet, and I don't have a crystal ball, but if they're going to shift that burden onto commercial real estate, now those triple net leases aren't going to be enough to cover all of those fees. So the landlords are now going to have to start
Charging
putting in
more
on
money.
their own properties.
Yeah, well, and not only that, a lot of people don't realize. I mean, me and you, we pay what's called a local business tax,
Right.
To Dade County, and sometimes the
local
independent cities,
municipality.
municipalities have their own.
Right.
So that can go up because now Dade County in the whole will say, okay, well now we got to make this up. Now we're charging City of Homestead, City of Florida, the Village of Key Biscayne, Hialeah Gardens. They're going to go up, and then we're going to bring our local business tax up. That also,
Right.
they can go in and pressure the appraiser. Well, now we got to appraise these homes correctly. We're going to do differently. So there's going to be political ways to bring back the money, the revenue. I mean, and look, we've learned over the years, especially after COVID, that once things go up, they don't come down.
No.
You know, so are you happy the way things are right now? Can you deal with it right now, or can you think about how worse it can get?
So it's not always greener on the other side.
Exactly. So you know,
Not always
we
greener.
got to look at all those things, and sometimes you know, yeah, it's we love to hear what we want to hear. No taxes. We're gonna pay less money.
Right.
Yeah, there.
Johnny,
Right.
being a contractor, you've dealt with many cities.
Yes.
What is your opinion of the city of Homestead's building department and the way they process their applications and their permits?
In your opinion.
Okay, in my opinion, well, one is I'm happy that now you can actually pay with a card. Before you couldn't pay with a card.
We made some progress.
Yeah, you know,
it.
you definitely made some progress. You can do online now. You know, I haven't been in Homestead for a while, probably about a year and a half, because last year I got into an accident, so, you know, I was down for a while. So, you know, I wasn't doing the business out here, but recently this year we have been, and it's getting better. Now, as a whole, I think everyone should get into a system like Dade County. And not because, no other reason, but Dade County does have a very proficient system. I think City of Miami should jump into it, because City of Miami, and I'm sorry, City of Miami, but you guys got the worst system there is. I'm sorry, you know. And there's like two others that fall almost there, but I think they all should be into one, because it's difficult as a contractor to go to unincorporated Dade County, get a permit. Then if you got to go to City of Miami Gardens, it's a different process. City of Homestead is a different process. And then you have, everybody has their own emails, and everybody has their own this, and it's hard. You know, look, City of Miami in the last 10 years have changed the system 4 times.
Wow.
4 times. And yes, City of Miami, you know what I'm talking about. So if you pulled a permit 10 years ago, you know how difficult it is to go into the system now to find it, because it's so moved out the way. So that makes it hard.
Right.
Okay, and for us to deal with it every day, imagine if it's just a regular, you know, Johnny Lopez that walks in that just wants to fix his fence.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's difficult. So I think we should all get on one accord. You know, get with the county. The county has a very good system. You know, they have a very good online system. They have a very good in-person system. You know.
Very similar to that point. Let's say you want to establish utility services at a property,
Right.
and one has FP&L,
One.
the other one
Homestead.
has Homestead, and let's say you have another one that has Miami-Dade Water and Sewer.
Right.
The easiest one by far is FPL. You can go on there,
Right.
create an account, 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
services on, and it's sometimes instant, right? But the other ones, City of Homestead, and I live in the City of Homestead, but they are still, they still have a lot of work to do in order to make that process more efficient for the residents.
Why do you think that is?
I think they're using outdated systems, you know, and a lot of times they don't have the funds in their budget to upgrade to a system as robust as Miami-Dade County. But now I think with AI, I think it's a level playing field. It's a level playing field for every city, for everyone to say, you know what, if I want a system to do that, then I just got to tell Claude or tell ChatGPT, hey, listen, and I would have my IT department working on it. If I was a city manager,
Right.
I would have IT department saying, hey, build me more efficient systems so that it is a very user-friendly system to the
Well said.
consumer, right? Because we all work for the consumer,
Right.
right? And it shouldn't be a burden for the consumer to have to do simple life necessities,
Right.
you know? And you don't want to have to walk into an office with all the technology that we have.
No. And being you bring that up, you know, I don't know if people are aware, you were councilperson for City Homestead. And if you ever go back, there's one thing that I would like, and I want to work with you to change.
Yeah.
Because unincorporated Dade, a lot of times, like even I have a Homestead address.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Homestead, Florida 33030, but I'm in unincorporated Dade.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I have constituents that call me up, Johnny, my light got cut off for whatever reason, because I mean, look, times are hard. I mean, I've been there before too. But now my light, they don't pick up the garbage and the water, because the City of Homestead, everything is in one bill.
Right.
So literally, if you don't pay, they cut everything
Everything
off.
off. Wow.
And that's difficult when you have children, okay? And I get it, you know, they need their money, but also, you know, we're people.
Compassionate.
You know,
Right.
you gotta be compassionate. You know, at least, and there's actually a law for a landlord law that you can't cut people's water off.
Right.
But then the City of Homestead does it, right? So I want to work with you, if you ever run for office again, to be able to change that to where, okay, if you get your electric cut off, we can live without electric. We do it during hurricanes.
Right, yeah.
During hurricanes, we live 14 days sometimes without electric. But water, to be able to shower, wash the dishes,
Basic stuff.
cook for your kids.
Yeah.
You know, so I want to be able to change. That's one of the things that's always been in my mind. How do we go about changing that in the city of Homestead? So that doesn't happen. And look, we if you haven't been there, then you won't understand what we're talking about. I'm an electrician. I got out of the service. I've worked my way up. Okay, I'm a blue collar worker, and I've been there where you've had to sometimes decide whether you need to pay the electric bill, your rent.
Right.
Because I didn't always own a home. I rented a lot.
Right.
Or fix your car so you can go to work.
Right.
So we got to be a little compassionate and have a place that we can go and talk to somebody, because now everything else also is online or on the phone. Press 1. There's a press 2. And that's something that bothers me. But I would love to work with you on something like that
For
to
sure.
get that done.
I think that's a great idea. And if you do happen to go into one of the facilities, there is something called customer service. And smile when somebody walks in, not frown like, oh my God, what do you want here? There are classes that private organizations do in order to enhance their customer service skills, which is why people gravitate towards that company to do business with them. Just because you work in the public sector doesn't mean you have to have terrible customer service.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't understand why. I mean, you can ask anybody, oh, it's because it's a government office, so it's terrible service.
It's expected.
We should change that.
Yeah.
And local cities have the ability to do that.
Right.
But it's got to come from the top down.
Especially when I want to say, and don't quote me, about 90% of the people that go in is because they have a problem.
They haven't figured it out online.
Whatever it is. And I get a lot of calls. I get calls where, a lady divorced her husband, or the husband's had to leave her, and now she's stuck and she can't pay the bill because she depended on the husband's income.
Right.
These things that happen. These are real life situations that we have to be aware of, and we got to be a little more compassionate about what's going on. So for everybody that sits in these offices, remember, if people are going in there, it's because they need a hand. And sometimes a smile will help them, because we don't know what might happen next.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost you anything
exactly.
to smile.
Exactly. And if you have a job, you should be happy.
Yeah. First and foremost.
Come on. Things are hard nowadays. I hear a lot of people calling me up for work. But
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's serious out there.
To
So,
wrap this up.
as far as the final note, what is fun for you?
What is fun for me?
Yeah.
Fun for me is on the weekends, my children, because during our early years of marriage, my wife's a country girl, by the way. She's from Memphis, Tennessee. So she made a family day every Sunday, no matter what we did. And as my kids grew up, she told them, no boyfriends, no nothing. Sundays, we all got together.
Right.
And believe it or not, to this day, my kids still do it.
Oh, we got to give it up to family day at the Farias house, man.
Yep. Be alert.
And just sometimes when I have a political thing to go to, they're like, Dad, the kids get on me. Dad, you did this. We got to do it. So sometimes I'm like, okay, I understand. But they also have something, because there's some things that we can't get out of. But family day.
Like the gubernatorial forum, which is Sunday.
But my family's gonna be there. All my kids are gonna come down. They enjoy it. But
That's how you get out of it.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you.
That's one of the things that I call fun. Just being around them. Sitting back and just at the table or even by the pool and watching all my kids and my grandkids, and I'm like, wow,
That's beautiful.
I did that.
Right, well said.
So
thank you. I mean, obviously, having the voters out there and having everybody to tune in to things that's going to impact them on a day-to-day basis, it's important to leave those type of crumb for the next generation. As we come on our podcast, we try to make sure that we're leaving a positive crumb, making sure everybody understand why we're doing what we're doing and where we're doing it at. Because a lot of time people, they get successful and they move away.
Yes.
And some of them are successful and they tend to stay too. And we want to make sure that, hey, there's a roadmap. Follow the roadmap. You said to log in, tune in. Is there any reach outs of any of your businesses that you would like anyone to reach out to as far as what you got going on?
Yes, if you want. I mean, my number is public. It's 786-286-7815. You can find me on all social media platforms, and it's Johnny G. Farias, or Councilman Johnny G. Farias. However you punch it in, it comes up. We have the event on Sunday. this Sunday at 4 o'clock. It's at the Seminole Theater. You can go, Google it. It'll come up. RSVP. It's free, and you get a chance to meet the candidates that are running. You get a chance to ask them the question that you want, because I can ask them the questions that I think are important, but my question might not be your question.
Are you gonna have a live?
Yes, we are. Yes, in fact, there's a link which I'll send you that you can put out on this podcast, where if you can't make it, you can put your question in there.
Okay.
Okay, and then when we're there, we'll say, okay, Julio from Homestead wants to know this. Okay, we're gonna allow that, and it's live streaming, but it's better if you come in person, because there's nothing being able to see the person.
Energy about the experience too.
Yes, and remember, we have an election coming up August 16th is a primary election.
Yeah.
Go out and do your due diligence on the person that you want to vote, but vote, because these are the people that are going to decide how you live.
Well said.
Johnny, can we expect to see you on any ballot coming up in the next few years?
Yes, I am going to be running for county commission.
Okay.
District 9.
Okay.
Give it up for Johnny, running for county commission.
Cool beans. Well, Johnny, thank you. Guys, without further ado, please log in, subscribe. Talk Visual 305 is here. We're becoming those guys that you want to talk to kind of have any key alerts or anything else. So without further ado, Julio, we're done.
Thank you very much, man.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you, Johnny.
Great.